Hey, Exoticals, it's your girl back with another Exotical rant. You know what I was thinking about? You really want to know? I was thinking about a cautionary tale. Let's get right into it, ladies. I want to talk about Desiree H. Gibson's story. She was a 24-year-old. She was from New York. Her parents, she was also an Exotical. She was white and Jamaican, black. So let's get right into it. Around late October 2017, she traveled abroad alone, to enjoy her father's homeland, which is Jamaica. She was planning to return late November 30th, 2017. Everybody knows the risk of traveling alone. She also hoped to do film school in Europe. That was like her main reason for going out there because she bartended in New York and she thought she could make a lot of money bartending in Jamaica as well. So again, she was from Hollis, Queens, New York. She loved arts and fashion. From childhood, she actually was in Blue's Clues. She actually even did a Miss New York pageant, and she was in VH1 Hip Hop Squares. Her major was broadcast journalism. Again, she went out here to kind of like make some money for film school she wanted to do in Europe, which was going to cost her close to 200K. That's what her goal was get about $144,000 for film school to go to Europe. So that's why she was in the small town of Anchovy near Montego Bay, Jamaica. She actually stayed at a resort that was owned by her paternal grandmother and operated by her dad's uncle Claude. Remember that name. She visited plenty of times before, no problem. She was very independent and she insisted on paying for her schooling in Europe, which again was about $144,000 to be exact, almost 200K, you know? Again, she had experience bartending, so she found it very easy to make money on the island as well as stay there on vacation. She told friends and family that she was meeting a lot of new people and she was having a good time in Jamaica, you know? Um, Unfortunately, on November 23rd, she was seen on camera leaving her hotel around 11:27 p.m. She told the guard at the hotel she would be right back. That never happened. 2 days later, no one saw her. On November 26, 2017 at 7:30 a.m., it was some like people walking by, some people discovered an unidentified woman in some shrubbery overgrown area, walking. So like they call the cops. Um, Unfortunately, they discovered her body. She was cut across her throat from ear to ear. It was a very deep wound. It was like almost nearly decapitated. Um, Again, her dad reaches out to her Claude because her mom hadn't been hearing from her. They reached out to the cousin. He had no answers for them. And the mom speculated that the cousin Claude could have been involved, but that was never proven. The police cleared him of any wrongdoing. And the mom and dad actually went to Jamaica to retrieve her body and try to start up an investigation and start up some noise about what happened to her and who did it. Again, it was a very weird story because she left the hotel without her purse or her cell phone meant for local use. Again, she told the guard she would be right back. So people were trying to figure out, was this random or was this targeted? No one claimed to know anything what happened to her, and it seemed odd because it was such a small town. Again, she was in Anchovy, a small town near Montego Bay. Prior to that night, she had went to a nightclub and a man made advances to her. She kindly declined. So people were trying to see if that had anything to do with it, but the police and authorities claimed it did not. Her boyfriend Phil from New York, he said when he called her, She said she had met some really nice, good, hardworking people, while she also met some other people from a poorer side of town. Um, and she had some problems with them, but she didn't describe to him to what extent. She just said that she had been having a little bit of problems with them. He claimed that she could have made friends with some people that plotted against her. It could have happened. And this was her boyfriend's speculation just from conversation. When they did finally collect DNA from her fingernails, when her parents received her body, it was DNA from an unidentified woman and a male. Some speculate the attack could have been some type of love triangle. And her mom received, after her death, received fraud alerts from somebody trying to make a wire transfer from her mom's card linked to her dead daughter's phone. Uh, it was just so much weird things that happened. Her aunt received calls from her dead niece's number with creepy breathing voices on there. It was just so much stuff that happened. In the end, her parents are really pushing for Desi's law. It's basically a law which, if you're killed and on the islands, or out of the country, and you're an American, U.S. law enforcement can get involved in those cases where Americans have been killed and investigate. But that was not in place in 2017. Hopefully it is now. I did not check. Ladies, please feel free to check if Desi law is in effect. I did not check. I might, if I do check, I'll put it in the description box. Ladies, this is a very sad cautionary tale. Desiree was not only a beautiful young woman, she was also an exotical like many of us. We are outgoing just like she was. We like to travel just like she did. We like to be independent as well. And this is one of the cautionary tales, ladies, I always push. And I've said it in many videos in the past in my cautionary videos. Check out some of my older cautionary tales. I talk about not traveling alone. Even if you have to pay an armed security guard to come with you somewhere, I always say it's worth it. Why? Because your safety is always worth whatever money they'll charge you. This is why I don't particularly do trips where they say you can't bring your brother, you can't bring your dad, you can't bring a male that loves you, your husband, a boyfriend. I don't go on those trips, because when I go on a trip, I'm going to bring my crew. And if I have to go on a trip and my crew is not available, my hubby, my brother, dad, another protective male I trust is not available, I'm going to hire an armed security guard to come with me. I do not play about my safety. Unfortunately, a lot of women get comfortable if they think they know people. Again, when you have family overseas and stuff, and you don't really know the extent of what you can trust them with. Of course it's good to visit them and be nice and friendly, but you never know the extent of what you can trust people with until you're in a life or death situation. That's always why I say always bring somebody with you. I know in today's society, they are always pushing us black girls, us black exoticals, us black mixed girls and biracial women to travel alone. Oh, you can go do it yourself. If nobody wants to come with you, go by yourself. Ladies, it is not safe. I'm going to tell you, I too have, just like Desiree, I have Caribbean background. I have family and friends overseas. I, as much as I love them, I care for them, and I love visiting and stuff, I always bring a male with me that has my back, like my husband, my brother, my dad, or if when I wasn't married, a boyfriend, or I will pay an armed security to come with me, especially if you're going to small, very isolated parts of that island or town where a lot of Americans or foreigners are not welcomed like that, or just not around like that, because they're mostly in the major resort areas of that town or the tourist areas, I suggest you keep an armed security guard with you. Again, she left her hotel at 11:27 p.m. When I travel, I do not go out at night unless I am with male, like grown men. I do not do that. And usually grown men that have that are carrying, you know what I mean. Because it is so dangerous out here, especially for us beautiful exoticals. It's this world is not a world where you can be unprepared and just super free spirited, especially at night. I tend not to do any activities at night. If I do go out again, I'm with a crew of men. So I'm not really worried because like if they're gonna have to get to me, they're gonna have to get through my hubby, my dad, my brother, whoever, or my friend, my guy friends that I'm with. They're gonna have to get through them first. I'm not an easy target. Ladies, please stop doing these solo trips, these girl trips, and not bringing any protection with you. Especially if you're going to a town that you cannot bring weapons, you need to bring men with you. You need to be in a group of people you trust that are local to you, that know you, that you're like your boyfriend, or even you need to bring somebody with you you trust, and definitely do not go out at night. Nothing good ever happens at night. My mom used to always tell me this. She always told me, ladies are in at night. Okay? Only hoes are out at night. And it sounds really bad. My mom was very traditional. So it sounds really bad. And I'm not trying to say anybody is a hoe. I'm definitely not trying to say that. I'm trying to say you have to be careful. This world, I know, especially as westernized women, American women, you're from westernized countries. It is like a lot of times you can go out at night. It's safe. The police are out there. You're in your vehicles and stuff like that. But when you travel and you're in unknown places, I do not suggest going out at night for anything. I feel like whatever you need to do, just take care of, you need to take care of during the day. That's just my thoughts. Ladies, again, condolences to Desiree Gibson's family. This should not have happened, and they still to this day have not found the perpetrator. But ladies, we have to be smart. Like I've heard of so many exoticals, and just check out some of my other exotical story times, cautionary tales. I've seen so many of women that just one small mistake and they lost their life. Them being out at night and they encountered a devil. My mom used to say, is nothing happening? Like after 10 o'clock, stay inside. My mom used to always tell me, she was like, especially after, she was like, when it gets close to midnight until 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be outside. That's when the evilest people come out. And I would be like, what is she talking about? She was so right. She was so right. You don't need to be out at night. You don't need to be meeting up with like anybody at night like that. Try to do all your things during the day. And it's not to be paranoid, because sometimes you might end up being out a little later than you expected. But never try to make that a routine. Never when you go out of town, when you go out of the country, never go out at night, especially alone. Things seem safe until they're not. I've learned that a long time ago. Things seem really safe until they're not. I'm going to tell you a quick story time about something that happened to me. But luckily, I had my boyfriend with me this time and he was carrying. But let me tell you some details. This is a quick story time. From this story, it made me remember my story. Ladies, one night I used to work overnight. Before I, had got married and stuff. I used to work overnight. I had a decent job. It paid the bills and it allowed me to date during the day. But again, at this time, I actually had a boyfriend or some guy. I mean, he was my boyfriend, I guess, but like, he was just like, long story about him. He was okay though, but he was a protector of me. He had my back. Let me tell you this story. So one night, I worked overnight. I was getting off. He met up with me at I believe he met up with me at my house. But I had to go back out because we had to go to the grocery store. It was not that far from my house. I want to say it was about a mile away from my house. So he was really tired because he had worked like a double shift. So he said, "Hey, you mind driving? I'll stay in the car." So he let the passenger seat all the way back. Again, he was carrying. So he said, "Hey, park in the front and just run in and run in and get what you need." He gave me his card. I ran in and got what I needed. But while I was in the store, again, I did work. I mean, let's just get into it. I ran into the store. I immediately noticed when I went into the store, it was late. It was around, I think, around 11 o'clock, 2 p.m. When I ran into the store, I immediately noticed the security guard was watching me. He spoke to me, was very flirtatious to me, and he was talking to another man. Remember this, he was talking to another man, and they were like both like looking at me. They actually complimented me saying I was pretty. I thought it was very odd because again, I've seen security in most stores. They don't talk to you. So I thought it was very odd. They don't really talk to you. They might like say hello, but to the extent of a conversation or complimenting you, they do not do that. So I thought it was very weird that they were watching me, complimenting me, and I noticed them staring at me when I was going up and down the aisles getting my things that I needed. I didn't really think anything of it. I came back to the car. I think I did mention it to my boyfriend at the time, what had happened. We also noticed in the parking lot that it was this big trailer. Like it was like a truck that had a trailer attached like for a horse, but there was no horse in there. We both thought it was very odd in the area I lived in for somebody to have a truck with a horse attachment with no horse in there at that time of night. We both thought it was very odd. Okay, we started driving back to my house. Unfortunately, I hit something in the road. I believe it was a nail or something sharp. My tire went flat. My tire, bam, it went flat. So immediately my boyfriend woke all the way up. And then he looked up. I checked the rear view. He was looking out the windows. And I was getting over to make sure I didn't hit anybody. So we both noticed that somebody was behind us, and it was the same truck from that grocery store. So we both noticed that ASAP. We both noticed that and thought that was odd. So we both noticed that. Then the guy got out the truck. So immediately he put his hand on his weapon. Immediately I got scared and he told me, "Hey, I don't think the guy saw me. If he comes up," the guy did have a weapon on him as well. He said, "If the guy comes up acting weird, just run toward your house. Just keep running. Don't look back. Just keep running." Ladies, I was so scared. This guy approached and I could tell he did not see my boyfriend because he came up to me. He said, "Are you okay?" Then he noticed my boyfriend and he had his hand on his gun. Ladies, I was so scared. This guy was weird as fuck. I said I was okay. Then he said, y'all, are y'all okay?" And then we were like, "Yeah, we're good. The tire just popped." Then he asked if he was like, "Oh, do y'all need help?" This guy was so creepy. I felt like even my boyfriend at the time, he said, if I was not with you, that guy would have tried to abduct you, like try to take you and put you in the back of that trailer. He was watching you the whole time. He was following us. And I agreed with him too. This guy actually dropped us at the top of the streets where I lived. But again, that taught me an important lesson about not being out at night. This guy was super creepy. This guy, I believe, was definitely a predator. I do believe me being with my boyfriend that night and him carrying saved my life that night. That guy was watching me. I even had told my boyfriend at the time that guy in the store he gave me a weird feeling in my gut. And he made me feel unsettled. Like, he made me feel very scared. And, like, ladies, When people think you're by yourself, they think you're easy lick. That's why I've learned never to be by myself when I'm going places at night. Number one, always carry. Always have some type of weapon on you that can defend yourself in a life or death situation. Sorry, ladies. Number two, I learned it's great to be independent, but it's also better to be safe. It's great to do things by yourself and be self-reliant, but being overly independent can get you hurt. I also learned being out at night is not the best thing for ladies that do not want to be attacked. Or if you're not selling anything, you need to be in the house. It sounds very old fashioned, but all the things my mother taught me, even though they may have been old fashioned, they were very correct in thinking, logic, and safety. Ladies, that night when I saw that guy's face, I knew he had ill intent for me. If it was not for my boyfriend being there and being armed and ready to fight him off, he would have did something to me. I would probably not be here, or he would have SA'd me. Or I might be in some type of human trafficking situation, i.e. sex trafficking girls. This guy was a predator. That security guard that was at that grocery store was also a predator, and they were working together to target girls that they thought would be profitable to do whatever they thought they wanted to do with them. Ladies, I'm telling you, protect yourself. Always value the covering of a man. I am not one of those women that center men, but I know people will leave you alone when you have the backing of men, especially strong men, that will protect you. This is one of the reasons why I always date protectors and providers, because they do not want you to go out alone. They know that they need to stay with you and be vigilant of you, because it's men out there that are straight predators and they prey on women and children. And that is the world we live in. Ladies, we as Exoticals are some of the most beautiful women on earth. We need the covering of protection, of male protection. I'm just going to say it straight up. I've came into so many instances that me being by myself, I would have been hurt. But because I was with a man that was protecting me, it saved my damn life. And I realized, hey, I love being independent and doing things myself, but a lot of times I need help, especially if I'm going to places am not familiar with the people, the culture, and I'm not just familiar with the area. I need to have a male with me. If I'm traveling, I need to have a male. If it's at night and I'm going somewhere, I need to have a male with me. Ladies, this is life or death out here. And I hate to scare people. I don't mean to scare you, but I am telling you to be cautious of your surroundings. I am telling you to protect yourself, to have stuff on you to protect yourself. That's one thing that I always do, is protect myself. I always will tell, especially the men in my life, where I'm at, where I'm going. Stay on the phone with me. If they're not physically with me, stay on the phone with me until I get home. Hey, I'm not feeling too safe. I don't know. I'm having a gut feeling about something. I feel uneasy. Hey, can you come over? I feel uneasy right now. Hey, can you come over when I was single? Hey, come over and just hang out with me tonight. And a lot of times it saved my life. I remember I was at these new apartments I just moved into. I had just started dating my hubby. We weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend yet. He was talking to me on the way home, and I was telling him, I was like, I have a weird gut feeling tonight. Hey, can you come over? He said, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. I have a weird feeling that night. How about that same night, the creepy maintenance man popped up at my apartment door, but my hubby answered. And he said, "Oh, I'm trying to do a work order." It was the middle of the motherfucking night. So I'm like, why the fuck is this mother? This guy was a big old white guy. He was super creepy. I believe he was clocking what time I usually got home. And that's why he came over there to service my apartment that late. I do believe that. And when he saw my hubby at my boyfriend or friend at the time there with me, he immediately did whatever he had to do and left. But this dude was always trying to make conversation with me. I knew in the back of my head he was a predator. And I stayed armed. And like literally my hubby at the time, which was not my hubby, we were just talking. We were talking for a bit. He literally said, like, I'm glad I came over. I think that's why you were feeling uneasy. Ladies, it's so easy for you to feel safe in unsafe situations that you would be surprised. It's so easy for you to get comfortable with where you're at. You're not looking at who's watching you and who's watching the patterns of what you're doing. This is real life. I mean, I have so many stories like that where literally me just having a male around me in my vicinity stopped whatever intentions they had for me. They knew they would have to go through a male, and that stopped them. Ladies, this is real life out here. Stop trying to be super bitch. Stop trying to be Miss Independent Betty and do everything yourself. And stop trying to be over independent where it becomes toxic and where you're not safe. Stop it. It's not worth it. Protect yourself. Protect the people you love, especially your children. Stop bringing people around you don't know. Stay armed. Stay vigilant and get around men that can protect and provide for you. This is life or death. It's not a game. Do not go out at night. I don't care what you have to get. Go get it in the fucking morning. Like my mom used to say, go get your shit during the day with the other ladies. Like, ladies, this is serious. Especially for my young exoticals that are college age, that are trying to explore. Explore. Be Dora the Explorer. I love her. But be safe about it. Bring friends. Bring men around you that you know that are safe and that will look out for you. Stop going by yourself. Stop doing all these activities by yourself. It's not safe. Ladies. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how you feel about this video. This is another video from Exotical Rants. Be safe. Bye, ladies.